So as you'll see in the chart, there's a number of equity raises, particularly in the secondary market. You saw at the beginning of '09 a lot of equity raisings by the majors, and as commodity prices improved through the middle of the year, you saw equity markets open for a lot of the juniors. So what we actually saw through the course of the year was the average size of equity raises decline as we went from the very few but very large major equity raises to the junior companies raising much smaller amounts. The outlook for equities, that's very interesting. I think equity is here to stay as a feature of the mining sector. I think companies have learned that you can't really over leverage the extent they had. The financial risk to the company just becomes too high, so they really see a role for equity in their balance sheet. I think the key thing for mining companies now is that they need a range of funding options. I think we've seen the debt, we're seeing the equity. I think going forward they need that balance in the way they fund their business. And even on the equity side, there are obviously the public markets that they can tap and have been, particularly secondary markets, but you could expect to see IPOs come back if volatility drops to a sufficient level to give confidence to mining companies to tap the IPO market. But I think you'll also see, as we're already seeing, some joint ventures and strategic partners putting in equity into businesses in return for a stake in the business, but also offtake agreements, and you're seeing Chinese investors very active in that regard. One of the interesting features of the equity raises during 2009 was the few but very significant amounts of equity raised by major companies on the London market and the high number of issues on the Toronto exchange for much lower amounts of money. And I think the chart will show you there was something like 1,700 raises in Toronto for less than $1 million. And really interesting, it highlights a deep institutional base in London where you can raise significant amounts of money, particularly as you're transforming from perhaps an explorer to a developer to a producer, and you've got a greater need for equity, versus Toronto market, which has been a great home for the junior miners who are heavily involved in exploration. We at Ernst & Young have worked with a lot of companies, mining companies from emerging markets over the last 10 years, helping them raise money in London, and we're very positive about the outlook for that as commodity prices have improved, and hopefully as the world economic outlook becomes more certain and volatility declines, we expect to see more raisings in London. We've obviously just seen the spin out of Africa Barrick Gold from Barrick Gold, list in London and raise $830 million. We're quite confident the outlook looks good, and the pipeline is definitely there.